Is Kashin Koji actually a dead man walking? Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have been keeping up with the Boruto manga. If you guys have not, in the last chapter of the Boruto anime, Jigen basically arrived in the Konoha and looked like Kashin Koji was absolutely spooked. Now, this dates back to a very long time ago, earlier when we were actually finding out what the Kara Organization was and actually who Kashin Koji is. We kind of thought that Kashin Koji, and still do think that Kashin Koji has some sort of relationship with Jiraiya. Not only that, we think that Kashin Koji might actually be playing a double spy. Here's the thing, that's still a very good possibility, but a lot of people are kind of figuring out that Jigen might actually have that thought as well. Now, in the last chapter, Kashin Koji basically said that he was kind of observing Jigen's movement, and while he was observing Jigen's movements, Jigen out of nowhere just appeared in the Konoha, and then Kashin Koji came to the conclusion that, hey, Jigen was also observing Kashin Koji's movements, and he thought of it as like a test. Now, I think that is definitely true. Jigen, being the leader of such a powerful organization, he understands that he can't necessarily trust a lot of people, and that goes for Kashin Koji as well. But here's where I kind of disagree with everybody, and where I don't necessarily think that Kashin Koji is a quote-unquote dead man walking, is the fact that Jigen doesn't necessarily trust anybody else. Of course, there's a lot of parallels between the Kara Organization, which is the organization in Boruto where Jigen is the head of, and also the Akatsuki Organization, which was the big bad organization back in Naruto Shippuden. And I think this is just another parallel where there just wasn't a lot of trust and teamwork in these organizations. That probably is going to end up spelling the downfall for the Kara Organization. If you guys recall back in the day with the Akatsuki, I mean, not a lot of them even knew the true goal of what the Akatsuki was there for. Pain had a different idea, Obito had a different idea, and not only that, the teams themselves, they were just dysfunctional. They always went out in two-man teams, mainly because they couldn't work with a lot of people. One of the first duos that we did see from the Akatsuki was Kakuzu and Hidan, and even Kakuzu said every time he had a teammate, he would end up eventually killing his teammate, and the only teammate that he can work with is Hidan, mainly because Hidan was basically invincible. I mean, just off of that, you got to see the distrust in the Akatsuki, and I think that's going to be the same exact situation here with the Kara Organization. Now, here's why I think that Kashin Koji is a little bit in the clear. Jigen actually trusts Kashin Koji a little bit more than the other characters in the Kara Organization. And that's not just my opinion. If you guys recall back in chapter 24, he actually told that to Delty. He basically said that Kashin Koji is very adept, he's very skilled, and not only that, if he were to actually change the mission, and his mission at that time was to actually retrieve Kawaki and basically come back to him, but if he were to actually change his mission, it would be for a very, very good reason. And it was for a very good reason. He found that Boruto had the karma seal. Not only that, Boruto and Kawaki's karma seal were basically feeding off of each other and basically working together. Now, Jigen already knows that Boruto also has another karma seal, mainly because Delta came back and basically told Jigen. So off of that, I feel like Jigen doesn't necessarily have any malice towards Kashin Koji. He understands that he's basically trying to get information, mainly because that's exactly what Kashin Koji does. He loves to sneak around, gather information, also assassinate people. They call him an assassin for a reason. And I think this is just another example of Kashin Koji possibly trying to gather up a lot of information, probably just for him, maybe selfish reasons, but I think Jigen is probably thinking about it of he could possibly be gaining information for himself and only selfish reasons, but also Kashin Koji could possibly be gaining information to give back to Jigen himself and basically help them towards their overall goal. And obviously, having Boruto be another person with the karma seal, basically being another vessel, as Jigen likes to call them, that could basically add to their overall plan and make them a stronger team in general in the future. So I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that Kashin Koji didn't necessarily make a move, but here's what's very damning to Kashin Koji is the fact that he looked very, very scared. And of course, if you guys recall back when we actually got to see Jigen for the first time, as soon as Kashin Koji seen Jigen enter Naruto's living room, he basically had the frog disappear. It's basically like a summoning jutsu that gives Kashin Koji the vision to see whatever the frog sees. For example, Kashin Koji was nowhere next to Naruto's house, but the frog was in Naruto's house, therefore he got the vision and was able to see exactly what the frog was seeing. So Kashin Koji is able to gather up a lot of information, but again, he had the frog disappear almost ASAP as soon as Jigen arrived. Now, definitely that could possibly be because Jigen is probably going to start fighting Naruto, and of course if they fight Naruto, the frog is probably going to get destroyed, but he just did it way too fast, and I think Kashin Koji understands that he's probably in trouble. But as I said, I don't necessarily think it's too big of a deal, and I think that Jigen is probably going to eventually still go on and try to observe Kashin Koji and basically see exactly what's going on. Now, here's what makes me believe that Kashin Koji doesn't necessarily trust anybody in the Kara Organization. It's the fact that he basically convened a panel of almost everybody in the Kara organization, all of the inners, and basically said we need to go on a mission to basically retrieve the vessel. Now from the last chapter of Boruto, we understood that he didn't necessarily need to do that. He could have appeared where Kawaki was at any time, but he wanted to test his team to see how well they would work, and also if they were to have any ulterior motives with the vessel themselves. So I feel like it's not just a Kashin Koji test. I feel like it was a Kara organization test overall, and still Kashin Koji didn't necessarily do anything too difficult or too wrong. Now here's another thing that's very important with Kashin Koji and the Kara organization, is the fact that Kashin Koji is a valuable asset to the Kara organization, because in the future we understand there's going to be a big war between the Kara organization and the Hidden Leaf Village. Who is the main person that has a lot of intel and a lot of information about the Hidden Leaf Village? It's going to be Kashin Koji, and because it's Kashin Koji, he can be a very valuable asset. Now of course there's going to be an overall question of if Kashin Koji is eventually going to want to cooperate and give the Kara organization all this information about the Hidden Leaf Village, mainly because we think that Kashin Koji might actually be a double spy. But even if he is a double spy, I'm pretty sure Jigen has ways to pretty much find out the information, even if Kashin Koji doesn't necessarily want him to know all these information. For example, if you guys recall, the Yamanaka clan, they have the ability to read minds. Jigen probably has people in the Kara organization that also has the ability to read minds. Not only that, there's various torture methods that I'm pretty sure Jigen could probably whip up and get some information out of Kashin Koji. So even if Kashin Koji isn't necessarily the most loyal guy in the Kara organization, and contrary to popular belief, Jigen actually does think that Kashin Koji is very reliable, but even if he's not, he's probably going to find a way to make Kashin Koji a valuable asset to the Kara organization. So just because of that, I don't necessarily think that Kashin Koji is quote unquote a dead man walking. Is he in trouble? He probably is. Jigen probably does find it a little bit shady that he didn't necessarily contact him back, but overall I think Kashin Koji is still continuing on with the overall mission, and he didn't necessarily do anything too damning like stealing Kawaki and trying to run off in the sunset and probably go to a different dimension so Jigen couldn't necessarily follow them. Now personally, I do think that Kashin Koji does have some sort of ulterior motives. I think that Kashin Koji does feel like Jigen is probably not necessarily his friend. He might even think of Jigen as his enemy, but the thing about Kashin Koji is the fact that he's an assassin. He could possibly be doing the same thing that Orochimaru did to the Akatsuki back in the day. I'm pretty sure only the 90s kids are going to remember this, but back in the day, Orochimaru actually seen the Akatsuki as enemies, and he actually joined the Akatsuki to gather up information. And of course, while he was in the Akatsuki, he gathered up a lot of information, not only about the Akatsuki hierarchy, but he also gathered up a lot of information about Itachi and the Uchiha clan. I'm pretty sure you guys remember that was where Orochimaru's fascination with the Sharingan came from, and why he actually went after Sasuke to become one of his future vessels. So I don't necessarily put it past Kashin Koji to actually have ulterior motives, and to be honest, I think that Kashin Koji is going to eventually reveal himself to have some sort of ulterior motives, but as of right now, it's not necessarily going to be too damning. Now how strong Kashin Koji is and how well he's going to be able to put all of this stuff and all of this information into a very good idea is still yet to be seen. I like to think of Kashin Koji as being a very strong character. I think he's probably even stronger than Delta. That is saying something, mainly because Delta almost killed Naruto and everybody else combined. He's definitely a very dangerous person, not only to the Konoha, but also to Jigen himself. I definitely look forward to seeing more big things out of Kashin Koji, and no, I don't expect him to be dead in the next couple of chapters. Even though Kashin Koji looked like he was kind of freaking out in the last chapter, in the next chapter, I think he's going to be very, very calm. He's going to really try to analyze exactly what's going on. There's going to be one problem, is the fact that he basically took away his frog from inside of Naruto's house, so he doesn't necessarily have any vision about what's actually going on. So I feel like it's not going to be like the previous chapters where Kashin Koji is just sitting chilling in somebody's backyard. Kashin Koji is actually going to mobilize, and the thing about Kashin Koji is that he doesn't necessarily have to worry about people detecting him. He's actually from the Hidden Leaf Fields, which is kind of hilarious. So I definitely expect for Kashin Koji to be making some sort of moves in the next chapter. But one thing that I do have to talk about, which is a very good possibility, and of course this would be very entertaining, is the possibility that Kashin Koji actually goes over to help Naruto. Now if this is the situation, we pretty much already know that Kashin Koji is playing a double spot. It would be confirmed. I think this is a very small possibility, but it definitely is a possibility nonetheless, mainly because, as I said, Kashin Koji is from the Hidden Leaf Village, and if he does want to act on those ulterior motives, this would be a very good time to act on it. This fight between Naruto and Jigen is a very important fight in the overall scheme of things. This is going to be a fight to determine possibly who's going to keep Kawaki and Boruto over the next 3 years, where we do actually get to the time skip. So over the time skip, we have to understand, or we have to see, who's going to get to keep the kids. So with that being said, I expect Kashin Koji to mobilize. I don't expect Kashin Koji to probably jump in and probably help Naruto out, but I do have to say I definitely would not be surprised, man, because this right here is definitely a pivotal fight in the overall scheme of things. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I know the opinions are going to vary a lot. Some people think that he's going to be dead in the next chapter. Some people think that he's probably going to be dead a lot later down the line, but me, I think that he's going to be a very good character and a very good addition to the Boruto series. Let me know what you guys think. It's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm at your sexual, no high cholesterol. Where's Jenny Craig? Bitch, just get sexual.